G'day there. There we go. We're on the screen. Great to be back. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back to the Rayside. Been a few days. It's been a few days since the premiere, but we are back in business, baby, to debrief, discuss so many theories and thoughts flying around since the premiere on Wednesday or Tuesday. I'm so excited to get talking today. We have so much to talk about. I have so many ideas, there's so many character things I want to bring up. And of course, I want to hear your opinions of it, what you've thought of since then. Because what a premiere, honestly. I have watched it 4 times since it's released. And I just have so many thoughts. And I cannot wait to talk to you about it. So let's get into it. Who's in the chat? First of all, the Skywalker's Academy, Rattleshark's here, Emotional Evolution, Brady's here, Andrew's here, Zammy's here, Clam Cakes, CG, am I in the right place? Absolutely, if you want to talk about Ahsoka. Hey, Lady Malfoy, CG coming in with a super sticker. Thank you so much. That was Theology, even in here. May the Force be with you, and Ben. Good to see you, Ben. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's having a great week. Time for a really fun discussion. Amazing time to be a Star Wars fan. Absolutely. Absolutely it is. And like I said, I have watched it 4 times now. How many times have you guys watched the premiere? Has you watched it a lot? Sage, what's up? How you doing? Troha. I've watched it 3 times and love it more each time. And JS is here as well. Phenomenal. Well, we can really talk about whatever you guys want to talk about today. I didn't appreciate enough. Thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate that. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Cam watched it twice, so did Troha, so did Theology. Danny just the ones that loved it regardless. Let's get the music down a little bit and let's get into the discussion. Give me one second. There we go. We're back. How we doing? So, yeah, what do you want to talk about? There's so much to talk about. Like, I was going to go, like, in chronological order, like, things that happen. But there's so many cool elements. I did a really interesting poll yesterday, which I threw on the YouTube. Let's put some chill music on. Most interesting villains. Because it's quite interesting with this show. We've got, like, 4 villains, really? Which is, like, hilarious. We've got so many villains in this show. And I was asking people who they're most interested by, and I think it was just about 30% of about 500 votes say Balin, but it was pretty even. A lot of people interested in many of the other characters as well. Which of the 4 villains, and when I say the 4 villains, we've got Balin, Shin, Morgan Elsbeth, and Marek. Who is your favorite out of those 4? Really interesting thought. Sage watched it 5 to 6 times. Amazing. Goodness gracious. Mitchell's here. How you doing? Balin is the most interesting antagonist in a while. Absolutely. And I think I mentioned this in my little review. So if you want to know like my full-on review of the episodes, go check out that video. That's live on the channel. But I mentioned this in that review of the really interesting part about Balin's character is in the little bit of dialogue in the end of episode 2 when Shin asks him what happens when we find Thrawn. And he's got this great response. And again, shout out to Dave Filoni for being such a fantastic writer. Because Balin has this great line of, for some it means war, for some it means good or something, and then for some it means power. And he's kind of talking about himself then, for some it means power. So it's a really interesting situation Balin and Shin, I would assume, are in, is that they're not with the Jedi, obviously. They're not Jedi. But they're not necessarily actively against the Jedi. And we also got that in the dialogue when Morgan's like, hey, can you go kill Ahsoka? And he's like, that's a shame. It's like he's not actively against the Jedi. He's more interested in power and gaining power, which is just a nice little nuance. I think a lot of, the classic evil is just like, oh, we've got to kill all the Jedi. But this is a bit of a nuance to this kind of Sith-like. What title do we give them? They're not Jedi. They're not dark Jedi. The orange Jedi. I don't know. What would you call them? But I just really love that characterization for Balin. He's not really actively thinking about Jedi, but he's more focused on gaining power through Thrawn. The two not Jedi seem to be pretty cool. Absolutely, I totally agree. Totally agree. Dark Lord Thrawn, Marek and Shin are my favorite villains. Been talking to people about Marek a lot. I have theories that he is played by Sam Witwer. Absolutely, and we'll get into that conversation in a minute too, because we had that. You might have seen it floating around a little bit on Twitter and things, but we had in the credits of the premiere Sam Witwer's name, which was insane. So I want to know your thoughts on that as well. Who could he be playing? Is it Marek or is it someone else? Balin is so good, says Ben. I know I'm going to love his character, and it just makes me sad knowing Rey is not with us, because I think he's going to be amazing through the series. I feel that too. I definitely feel that too. I mean, did we mention this in the watch party? Like, someone mentioned how, he could even be carried into an animated series, or Tales of the Jedi is another way we could carry on his character, because he's such a great character, and Rey plays it so well. Balin seems like a really interesting character. I hope he has good development. Me too. Hey Roman, how you doing? Hey Ray, I'm 50-50 on the show. The writing is really bad with tons of standing around. This is a hot take. This is a very hot take. The writing is really bad with tons of standing around, looking off into the distance. Disappointed Sabine ran, regressing to her bratty behavior. One of my most notable points is how incredibly written this show is. So that is very fascinating, Roman, because I, with every cell in my body, disagree with that take. But opinion's an opinion. There you go. So you don't like the writing and a lot of standing around for you. What do you enjoy of the show? What's the other 50? Balin is calm, says Rattleshark. Cool-headed, calculating. Shin, by contrast, looks like she's about to snap any second, right? She's like on her last thread or something. She's like ready to go. Absolutely. He was cool. Dark Jedi? Is that what we're calling him? I'd say Shin as well, but I haven't had much time to see what her character is yet. Yeah, that's true. She doesn't do much talking. Like, she's in a lot of scenes, but she doesn't talk a bunch. Newest cool theory I've seen is Balin wants what's left of Lothal Temple on Thrawn's ship, so he can access the world between worlds. That's a cool theory. Yeah, and like what I mentioned, like Balin does mention that thing of he's after power. But yeah, what does that look like? Is that, trying to get to Thrawn to overcome Thrawn? Is that to be more powerful in the Force? That's a good point, Sage. And, there's a lot of kind of spirituality, the Lothal Temple, and there's other temples elsewhere as well you could be after. I like that. That's a cool thought. I wouldn't think of that. Hey, Law, how you doing? Shin's robes and armor are cool. Reminds me of Clone Wars. Yeah. Yeah, they are different, though. I don't remember seeing them elsewhere. Marek versus Marek. Too much of a coincidence. Yeah, it's weird, hey, Dave? It's weird. It's very, very... Yeah, it's very close, isn't it? Sam Witwer as the Mon Cala would be a twist. I'm not sure there were other masked characters. Yeah, that's a good point. You know what? I don't know which Mon Cala you're referencing, but I hope it's the one that was in like the opening scene with Captain Hale. Like when they first arrive on the ship and they like walk out to meet Balin and Shin, and there's a Mon Cala in like the helmet. That looked so goofy in the best way possible. It looked so goofy, but it was so great. I love it. Too much Sabine, more Ahsoka. Again, I think Sabine is there to develop Ahsoka's character. That's my take. She has to be in this quite a bit because even in these first few episodes, we get to know so much of where Ahsoka's at, what she's thinking, what she's doing, because Sabine's there to kind of bounce off and to kind of hold up a bit of a mirror to Ahsoka of her beliefs. She's kind of grappling with this mentorship. Is she the right mentor and all these kinds of things? So I don't know. I think Sabine needs to be in a bunch. Yeah, I'm convinced by the end of the season he might be turned. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree, JS. I think that's a really important thing. I think we're gonna have some big crescendos later on in the show, and I think having these slow moments in like these first two episodes are like important. Makes them bigger and better. Oh yeah, Natasha. Natasha is awesome. It's her birthday today as well. Just turned 29. Steezo! Thank you. What do you got for me? I'm expecting a major surprise reveal in this show. One no one sees coming, such as Luke in Mando Season 2. Yeah, I think so. I mean, we have the pretty strongly predicted Anakin cameo. People saying maybe Kenobi could show up in some sort of way. I don't know who would be a massive surprise. I don't know. Who do you think that would be? Who do you think that would be? Ben, I think Shin v. Balin may happen eventually, just because her personality feels like it's on the edge and he is so calm. I feel like they could fight. Yeah, actually, you know what? Shin could like kind of side with. You know what I can see happening? Shin will be siding with like Morgan Elsbeth and Thrawn a lot more, and then Balin's like, can't do it. Like, I don't want to kill Jedi, and then they'll split. That's a good theory. That's a good theory. I like that. Oh, he's so great. That Mon Cala was great. A Mon Cala in a helmet is just phenomenal. So good. Yeah. Oh, good. Thorn show is a 10 out of 10 for me. Shin's actress Ivana is so good without even saying much. Love the homage to Dave paid to Darth Maul in that scene with Shin. Yeah, there was there two? I feel like there was another one that I was like, that's another Darth Maul scene. I forget, but yeah, the one with the little probe droid going out on like Thor, that was awesome. How good was that? That was so good. Yeah, I don't mind it, but fair enough. Are sabers nerfed now in the Disney patch? It's a great question, and I don't know why they keep coming back to it. But I mean, there's many elements I could say it works. Obviously, like Sabine was like right next to a city and like got to a hospital like within minutes, and it was kind of to the side, like it wasn't in the chest or anything, like near her heart. So it's like, yeah. But I do have the thought of like, why can't they do like, have a cut to the leg or something, or like, they get a really big cut on their shoulder or something, so it still has that kind of impression and intensity of like they're seriously injured. Like clearly that's what they're trying to get across. Like they get incapacitated in a battle, but it's like they can do that other than stabbing the person. I do kind of agree with that. I do know. Oh, Glam Marek looks like a woman to me, so I assumed it was really Barriss. Yeah, that's still not off the table for me. I'm kind of with that. Hey, Bing, how you doing? Do you think we'll get to see Thrawn next episode? Whew. I don't think so. I don't think yet. Maybe not yet. I think episode 4 we will. Bad Coyote tuned in late. What did you think of the modernized music for Sabine bike scene? Took me out of it. It was a little much. But also in saying that, we got that kind of, what's the word for it? There's that like kind of throat singing music in Jedi Fallen Order when Cal, like you do that like kind of boss fight thing in the arena. That music. There's that one in Fallen Order. And that happens somewhere else as well. But it's like, so that it is bizarre, but also bizarre enough that it like fits. I don't know. I didn't mind it. Also, with showing a lot of Sabine and Hera, I feel like this is the way of showing what Rebels characters are going through after the Battle of Lothal, since we haven't seen these characters in years. Absolutely. And like, in the timeline of Ahsoka's life, like she's very involved with these characters. She was Fulcrum. She worked through the Rebel Alliance a long time. And of course in Rebels, like she worked along with Hera with so much of her time was with Hera. So it makes sense. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, it should be just Ahsoka. But it's like, well, in her life, in Ahsoka's life right now, it is very much based and like with the Ghost Crew. So it makes sense. Balin is the best acting talent there, and the action is really good. I'll give them that. Fantastic sets and graphics. I love them incorporating the Dathomir, which is switches into live action, and I'm all for it. Yes, that's another great point. Morgan Elsbeth being a Night Sister? Very interesting. I'm so fascinated to see how they expand that and how deep they go into that. And I'm like, there's so many questions here. It's like, can she connect with like Mother Towson? Even though Mother Towson's kind of like dead, I think at this point. But like, how could she connect? You know, she used a bit of the magic to start unlocking the map. But you know, I want to see more of her abilities. Really cool characterization for Morgan. I think that's awesome. It makes it just more interesting than just, you know, like a sidekick for Thrawn. Like it just makes it so interesting. I mean, it's fairly confirmed. Like, I mean, it was heavily theorized and assumed, and then they put out that teaser of Anakin speaking to Ahsoka in live action, like, but just his voice. So it's like confirmed, but not actually confirmed. You know what I mean? Thanks, Thorn. I appreciate that. Yeah, 100%. Like, and I don't need to really touch on it again, but yeah, for real. Like, if it just shouldn't even be a question. Just like, it's a fictional movie. Just like focus on the characters and the stories and where we're going. Like, just why are people getting so stressed? Yeah. But thank you. I appreciate that. It means a lot. What episodes are you expecting Thrawn and Ezra showing up? I'm guessing episode 5, since the only other episode directed by Dave Filoni. I think it could be 4, to be honest. I think it could be 4. Although I think maybe a lot of the season sounds like it'll be that journey, so it could be later. It could be 5 or 6. I probably wouldn't want it to be as far as 6. Like episode 5 would probably be the latest I would love to see them. Because I would love to see a lot of Thrawn, to be honest. I want to see, I don't know what he's doing, and also what happens after that. Absolutely, but 4 or 5, yeah, I'll put my money on. I think part of the reason Luke worked in Mando is that everyone who had heard of Star Wars knows Luke, and I don't think there's any way to replicate that to an extent. Yeah, I agree. And I think just the wow factor. It's really hard to replicate that wow factor. I mean, Anakin, like the flashback scene of Anakin and Kenobi, I think had similar intensity of like, this is epic. This is incredible. And I think a similar thing, Anakin showing up in this show would have that similar like wow. But it's not like we are completely unknown about that. Whereas, like, no one had, that I know of, no one had money that Luke was coming in Mando Season 2. Hey, Tony. Even though Ahsoka and Sabine are my favorite Star Wars characters, I really loved Baylan and Shin more in these episodes. Both actors really stole the show for me. Really interesting characters. Yeah, I think that's the one thing I can really attest for these first shows is that it's very clear who these characters are. We get where Ahsoka's at, obviously, and her mentality. We get where Sabine's at. We get where Hera's at. And then we get the bit of backstory with Morgan. What's her past? What's her goals? What is she aiming to do? We get Baylan and Shin, their dynamic, and what they're achieving and how they fit into knowing Morgan and knowing Thrawn, and you know, kind of how they're dealing with it. I think what I was really impressed with these episodes is that in some TV shows I find it really hard for it not to be really basic and simple of how they explain like some sort of plot device of like why a character is where they are, or you know, how these two characters know each other. It's very, very simple to be just like, oh, like that time we battled on Yavin. You know, it's like, it can be a bit dry like that. But this show, I think, does it in a really clever way. All the ways that we found out how everyone knew each other and how everyone was working together was all like very well mixed into the story, the dialogue, the scenes. So it was just very like natural. Does that make sense? That makes sense. But I love that. I loved it. I'm missing so many super chats. Hang on. Chats, normal chats. Yeah, I feel like they could just hit the saber somewhere else in the body. Maybe not a stab. Hey, Yava, how you doing? Ernest saying 10 out of 10. Can't wait for episode 3. I love that the main characters have flaws they really have to overcome. I'm here for the growth journey. Absolutely. And I think it will be that. Absolutely. Dave, what do you think? My guess is Sam Witwer, who we know voices many Star Wars characters, is a Filoni tease. I hope the rumor about Marek is Barriss Offee is true, and her character return will help close character arc with Ahsoka. Absolutely, I think I've said this frequently. I think the arc there, the kind of connection there with Ahsoka is left open, and even in the dialogue we got in the premiere, it is like shown like Ahsoka's still like, I left the order, but she left the order literally because of Barriss, really, because Barriss did the whole set her up thing, and then that's what made the Jedi not believe her. So it'd be really, I think it would be a great like full circle thing if Barriss was in this show again. Stephen loving it. Can't wait for next Tuesday. Dark Jedi is a good way to describe Baylan from what we know. He doesn't seem like a Sith. He's just hungry for power. Yeah, I think Dark Jedi is like the term to go with, hey. I think that's the term to go with. Marek was confirmed to be a male actor, though. I thought clear back in April. Really? Really? Apparently, her introduction music was something like, it was in the universe music she was listening to. I heard people talking about, I could be wrong. What are you mentioning? What are you referencing there? What music? Sabine's music? I don't know. I hope Marek is Sam, but I don't want to get my hopes up. Yeah, me too. Me too. It could be someone random. It could be someone totally random. That frequently happens. We're like, oh, who's it gonna be? And then it's like, what would be a bloody spanner in the works if it was God, what's his name? Oh no, what's his name? The Jedi that Ahmed Best plays. What's his name? Kelleran Beck? Is that his name? Kelleran. Imagine we get the reveal that Kelleran saved Grogu, and then since then he had turned, and then he's Marek now. Like, imagine if it's that. Oh, so good. Hey, Caleb. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to watch the second episode. Oh, you got it, man. It's good. It's good stuff. Yeah, I love the... That's the music from Fallen Order. This was very, like... I felt like very similar. Yeah, I saw... Did you hear them and see them? There was like a little shadow of one in the sky. Gotta get that Purgle, eh? Gotta get that Purgle. Absolutely, exactly. It's the writing. It's how the characters are. It's the story, and it's the same with men. Like, if the men are terribly written, then they're bad characters. Like, it's the same with everyone. Yeah, that always gets us going, eh? When an actor's like, "Oh, that was my favorite scene or favorite episode." It's like, oh, why? Yeah, live action Chopper was perfect. Oh my god, I love that. Live action Chopper was so good. Absolutely. Personally, nothing will be as ridiculous as Darth Maul and Anakin surviving what they survived. Make another character survive something like that, then I'll complain. Absolutely, yeah. It is kind of hard to, like, debate everything because it's like Maul survived getting cut in half. So it's like, really, you can, like, kind of survive from anything. Kind of. Yeah, he was super understandable, hey. He was super understandable. Which I kind of enjoyed, because it kind of makes you a bit... As much as, like, we engage with R2 when he's on the screen and he, like, does these little beeps back to Anakin or whoever he's talking to. It's really interesting that, like, the droid's, like, beeping and, like, talking, but, like, we can understand him. It's kind of cool. I think a lot of people gravitated towards the new characters. People are starved for new content within Star Wars. For too long, we are in the same locations with the same names. I'm dying for Old Republic. Well, let's go into things we already know. But no, I get you, Coyote. Yeah, it's, and especially when they're interesting. Like, that's why I'm like, I really hope they, like, make a comic series about Baylan and Shin. I don't even read comics, but, like, I hope they make that for those characters. And I, like, let's have them show up in Tales of the Jedi. Let's, like, have Baylan be mentioned in, like, a book and, like, things like that. I definitely think we can flesh out those characters. They're really, really cool. Yeah, that's so true, Law. That's so true. That's a good point. Oh, that would have been fascinating. Imagine if Sabine lost a hand. Imagine that. And had it rebuilt. A hard lesson learned and a shocking twist for the character development. Yeah. Sin City! I was hoping you were going to drop in tonight. Give me all your thoughts. Give me all of them. I think I'm pretty behind on the chats, but I just saw you're in here. Oh my god, tell me everything. Tell me everything. Yeah, was that cool? Did you like that? Hey, Star Wars Sith, you lurking back here. Love it. Great to see ya. Mara goes to Luther's shop to buy the Star Killer. You know what? I was thinking of this. I was like, hang on. Just yesterday, I was like, wasn't his helmet in Andor's shop? Was that the thing? Not Andor's shop, but the shop in Andor, Luther's shop. I was like, was that the helmet? I gotta go back to that. I gotta go back to that. Sabine's intro music is what I was talking. Oh, right. Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I'm just getting to the other part where people compliment the thing. Like, you know, hang on. I gotta get the video of it. It's so good. Fallen Order. What's it called? Arena throat singing? Oh, jeez. Yeah, hang on. Let me pause the music and put this on. It's so good. Oh jeez. Hang on. It's so good. It's so good. I just want to listen. That should be. I want that to be my alarm. Imagine waking up to that. Oh, so good. It's so good. I've missed so many messages from that. Hang on. Let me try and go back. Absolutely, Sin City. What did you think of the premiere? Come on, dude. Give me your rundown. I want to hear your rundown of everything. Yeah, true. Exactly. It's like, if that can happen, like, anything can happen, really. One nitpicky question I had was the first scene with Ahsoka. If the map orb was so important, why the heck those droids got a self-destruct mode? Cool scene. It had made me scratching. Do you mean like the droids? Why did they go to self-destruct? Because it would be better for no one to have it than to them to even have it. I think that's it. Does that make sense? Is that what you're asking? Why the heck would those go? Yeah, because like for the enemy, for like Morgan Elsbeth and like that side, it is much better for Ahsoka or whoever not to have it at all than for it to be like let her go with it, if that makes sense. Oh, imagine Chloe. Imagine Rex's babysitter of Jason. Law even loves it. He's selling the no squeezy only for men. No squeezy! No baby, bad baby. Oh no, it's not going to turn into the impression show. Hey, Sammy. You got school next week. Oh no. You can still watch the shows, right? Other than Sabine surviving a gut saber stab like Reva and everyone else except Qui-Gon, that weak male, I didn't get that actual point of the entire scene. I have 0 point except for the Force. It's a 0 point except the... I don't understand at all what you're saying there. But yeah. Wolf Totem. I love it. Shin, on the other hand, is more aggressive and extremely fast. I really love that. She also has no clue about what is happening, which makes it more compelling. The audience can identify with her. True. She's kind of just like, why are we going here? She keeps asking. I love that. She's like, why do we need Thrawn? Like, great questions. Like, we don't know. That's so good. It's so good. Filoniverse, absolutely. I like the episodes other than that. Balin and Shin are really awesome. Morgan, I'm kind of met on. Dude, really? I thought, because you're a big Night Sisters fan, so I thought you were going to be, like, obsessed with her. Yeah, I would agree with Law. I mean, I've watched the scene 4 times, and it is interesting seeing who's more powerful. And clearly Shin is more powerful. I think it was to establish that Shin is a lot more trained than Sabine. Like Sabine's very good. She's a very good warrior, in her own right, and she's had a bit of she's had that bit of training from Kanan. She's had a bit of training. We don't know for how long with Ahsoka. So she's good. She could kind of defeat someone average, but against Shin is far better. I would say that. Absolutely. Thank you, Christian. Appreciate that. Absolutely. 100%. Hang on. Give me a sec. Also, did you like that little? You got a sneak peek of the shirt there. Sneak peek. So hyped that Morgan is a Night Sister. Loved the performance. Yeah, she's a great actress. Hey, great performance from Morgan. What's her name? What's her real life name? Oh, I forgot the actress's name, but she was amazing. I loved her. She's really like, I don't know. Yeah, it just her performance was really convincing. She's very cynical, very serious, but still quite emotive. Really good. Really, really nice. Yeah, right, Rattle Shark. Yeah, I agree. I think maybe not a hand, maybe a foot. What if she lost a foot? Or like if she got like stabbed in the shoulder or something, or like a big cut on her leg or something, you know what I mean? Something like that. Yeah, she's tapped into using the magic a bit. But Balin could have done that. No, well, I don't think so. Because I don't think Force users can really wield... I could be wrong here. I don't think Force users can wield magic. Mara could have been Jason. That would have been insane. That would have been nuts. That would have been crazy. If the rumors are true with Thrawn, we're going to see some sick magic. Yeah, I think with Morgan though, not with Thrawn. I don't think Thrawn could wield magic, can he? I don't know. I'm still reading all the books. Maybe I just don't know that yet. Diana Lee, Santo? Is that how you say it? Yeah, Diana, that's her name. Love it. Yeah, I did think that. I mean, I do think she does look more paler, a little bit more pale than she was in Mando. On her side by side, she does look a bit more pale, but she does look different. Someone did point out that she does look quite a bit like Merrin, just without the heaps of facial markings, which kind of makes sense. She hasn't said much, but I'm loving Shin. Yeah, people are loving Shin. But to be honest, which is really funny because a lot of people being like obsessed with Shin, I'm much more fascinated with Morgan than Shin, to be honest. It's my take. It depends on the story. If Maul can get sliced in half, anyone can survive anything now. And like Qui-Gon had to die for the story. There's a plot point. It's like the plot point was Qui-Gon had to die. Yeah, exactly. They're not the same. Oh, where Thrawn is, right. Yeah, gotcha. Sorry, yeah, gotcha. When Sabine got stabbed, we immediately knew she was fine and there was zero stakes. The trailer showed us she had more to go in the story. Not sure if the marketing made a mistake. Yeah, it was kind of weird. I did think that. I was like, it was dramatic in the sense that I was like, what? Like, you know what I mean? But it was like, yeah, most of us were like, knew she would carry on. So it was kind of, it was a little random. Nice. I think every aspect of the show is so far top notch. Oh, I love it. I love it. One other thing I really loved is all the stuff in the shipyard. That was really fascinating. I think that was a really good point because, you know, obviously we get to see so much of the Empire. We've seen a lot of media in the Empire times. We have original trilogy, we got Rebels, we got Bad Batch, we got Rogue One. You know, we've got a lot of stuff in the Empire time. So it's really amazing to see. Also, sorry, before I continue this point, I totally skipped over CG's donor. Oh my goodness, so sorry. Thank you so much for the $5 dues. Coming in. Diana Inosanto is the actress who plays Morgan Elsbeth. She's also the goddaughter of Bruce Lee. Oh, I did read that a long time ago, and I was like, what a random connection. How cool. How very cool. That is so random. I love it. I love it. But yeah, I'm really loving her performance so far. So cool. But thank you for the $5 dues. Appreciate your CG. I would be less confused about it if we had a single time analysis that looked different, but I don't recall that ever being a thing. Yeah, I mean, maybe I've got to see side by side, to be honest. I got to see, like, different photos of all the Night Sisters we've seen. You know what? I had this question. I was like, who takes care of the cat? There's, what's his face? Clancy Brown. What's his character's name? Ryder. Does Ryder Azadi take care of the cat, the loaf cat? I reckon it's him. Ryder does it. Oh. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, my favorite part, when the masked guy calls his saber and Ahsoka just sort of tilts her head away. She's so powerful, and that was epic. Yes, I do think they've done so well in characterizing Ahsoka's power, because she is very in tune with the Force. Like that scene, and that was awesome. That little, yeah, she just does the little, and it just goes, like, so cool. It was also cool to actually, the combat in the show, I'm loving. The choreography, that's the freaking word. Oh my god. The choreography of the saber fights, I'm really down with. I think they're really clean. They're strong. Lots to them. I think they're really, really good. I think it shows Ahsoka's power, and, you know, with the droids was really cool in, like, her opening scene. But her choreo with Marek was so cool. And then, yeah, when he, like, throws his saber and, like, spins in and then it, like, comes back, was so cool. Love that. Just, like, super. It was just like a classic. It's just like a classic, like, just cool combat thing. You know what I mean? So cool. You don't know who Shin is? We just watched them. Maybe Morgan is half Night Sister, maybe. And you know what? She did say it was her ancient people. So this might be, you might be right there, CG. It might be a bit more removed or something. Here you go. Here's the answer. That's a good point, Lawrence. Animated / CGI Night Sisters perhaps look different from live action. Yeah, that's a good answer. Good answer. Ahsoka should have force pulled him right off the ship. That would have been crazy. That'd have been crazy. Oh yeah, I saw that photo. That was really, really cool. And it's like all these different planets. There's like Coruscant. There's Mandalores there. What are there's all these other planets where we know. But so the end credits where it's like, you know, it's like the map and it's got all the like Aurebesh of all the planets in it. Someone like translated it and it's so cool. I'll try and find that and reshare it. The scary blonde kid. She's like easily over 20. She's like easily over 20, Tilly. I don't know why you keep calling her a kid, dude. Oh. Yeah, she's brand new. Like, we haven't seen her in anything else. Look, Dave was right. He said it was, we had a lightsaber fights that our fans would appreciate, and we're already talking about them. Yeah, exactly. They're already very good. The brothers are very diverse, but I don't remember the Night Sisters that didn't have milk-like skin tone. Am I misremembering? But that, again, like the translation to live action might be a little different. So, don't know. I think we're getting Hondo for sure, says Joey. Could be. I think he would fit. I think he would fit in there. And they would like come across him in some like random shipyard or something, or like he's gonna be the one to like save Ezra and like not Ahsoka. It's gonna be so funny. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point, CG. I think, I don't know why she's kept it. You know, if they've turned away from the Order, and obviously Jedi Order hasn't existed for like 20 years at this point, it is interesting why she still has it. But like I said, it's not like they're very stark Sith. And I made this comment before of, even though they're like not Jedi and they're not with the Jedi, they're not really after the Jedi. They're not like, hey, we want to eradicate all Jedi that exists in terms of Baylan and Shin. They're just after their personal gain in like the Force and in the galaxy. Really interesting. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, wow, this is like the same thing. But I've never seen Treasure Planet. I only saw like the edit of it. But yeah, it does look super the same. I like Shin. She's the typical Padawan apprentice, full of energy, dashing around, while Baylan strolls around full of power and pushing and pulling people rather than running into them. Absolutely. I think it's, yeah, the characterization of all these characters that we've gotten in this show has been superb so far. Great establishing of all of them. But isn't it fun that we don't know? Isn't that fun that we don't know? I mean, we'll get to that question soon. What's going to happen? Episode 3. What's going to happen? The Dual Strike is a nice tempo balance between the original and prequels. Fast, dynamic movements. It's still grounded in an OG sense. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it's like super overly energetic, but it's very strong and impressive. Good point there, Nimble. I think they've balanced that quite well. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think they're completely evil. Hey, Farrah coming in with a hot take. Spicy opinion. I'm not a fan of the animated Filoni stuff. Seeing the split screens of the animated show in live action, is Filoni just copying his own work for this assignment? This is the Star Wars guy. Yeah, well, I mean, George said it himself. Star Wars is all about is like poetry. It rhymes. It mirrors itself a lot. George attested to that and said that, and I think Dave does that very tastefully, in my opinion. So there is a lot of mirroring. The way Sabine chooses to cut her hair in a symbol of renewal and a decision being made is similar to how Kanan in the final season of Rebels cut his hair and made that decision that he was going to be a new man and go on this new path. Obviously, yeah, that's only one example, but there's a lot of mirroring of ideas from previous shows and mentions to his previous works. But I think that connective tissue that we are seeing makes it so well fitting into the galaxy for audiences. I think that's an incredible thing that it can connect in those ways. And it's not as simple as just showing up the same character. It's in these very deep symbolic things that are shown. Is this the Star Wars guy? Yes. He is the Star Wars guy, in my opinion. I think Shin will turn to the dark, like fully. I think she'll kind of commit and Baylan will turn good. That's my pick. Baylan at the beginning of the episode did not even resort to violence at first until they would not let him do what he wanted. So he's definitely not fully dark side. Absolutely. $2 dues from Toon Raider. Thank you so much for your dono. I used to be against it, but I'm team Force Bean. Oh, like Sabine being Force sensitive? Is that what you mean? Is that what you Bean? Bine? Force Bine? Force Sabine? Is that what you're talking about? Force Sabine. I kind of get you. Force Sabine. Oh, that's clever. Holy shit, that's cool. Didn't know that. It's been great, isn't it? It's been great, James. Hey, Sonia, how you doing? Oh, yeah, gotcha. Oh, that's so cool. Team Force Sabine. Team Force Sabine. Oh, jeez. Nailed it. Todd coming in. I'm just waiting for Dark Side Luke. What in the world? I don't know if you'll get that in this show, but keep on waiting, brother. Thank you for the $2 Oh, it's a good question. It's a good question. Maybe a members live. Maybe a members. Kenan says Sabine is too stubborn. Something Ahsoka also says. I'll bet Sabine will get over some of that and use the Force. They never did say in Rebels she didn't have the Force after all. Again, this is a hot topic. Hot topic. Let's go to the... I gotta find where this is brought up. I did a poll. Mixed thoughts. People are torn. People are torn. Let's go to the comments of this one. Let me bring this back up. So this is on my channel. Where is it? Okay, so this is on my channel. I did this poll. 253 people voted. Is Sabine Force sensitive? So 23% saying yes, 77 saying no. Got some comments here. What do people think? Force resides in everyone. You can still technically train as a Jedi without being Force sensitive. I have a feeling it's the case with Sabine. I agree with Micah here. I think she is like kind of training Jedi-like, but she isn't. That's my take. Maybe enough to sense a blaster bolt, not enough to lift an object. That's a good point. I don't think she has any Force sensitivity than the average individual. So a lot of people saying that here. And Sada Morta saying she totally is. Doesn't mean it to be bad, but I do hope it's great. So it's tearing people apart. And it's really funny because every time I did this on Twitter as well. And I did this poll, is she Force sensitive or not? And both sides was like, are people idiots? Of course she is. Or someone would be like, this is insane. She is clearly not. So it's really funny. I'm seeing both sides, people being like, it is absolutely this answer. It's really interesting. So if you haven't let me know your thoughts on this, let me know right now. Well, what? I still like Hera the best. I still like Sabine and Zeb. Still don't like Ezra. I'm not really keen enough to murder. I'll get you one day. Yeah, I love seeing the map. It's so fascinating to see how far galaxies are apart from each other. That's what we are potentially that's where we're potentially going. Hype. Yeah, it's cool. It's an interesting concept. I'm not sure if I'm fully on board with it, to be honest. I'm like, we got a lot of planets in our galaxy, and a lot of people often say, "Oh, we've been here, we've seen places, we've been to these areas." I'm like, that's fine with me, to be honest. Did Chopper say, "Is that bad, or do I care?" I can't. Well, he says a lot of things. Did you touch my? I remember, like when he was trying to find the track, and he's like, "Did you touch my stuff?" And Hera's like, "No." And then he says something else. It sounds like he says, "Oh, I've got it," at one point as well. Yeah, he says a couple lines. Cool. I feel like we'll see dark side Ezra, especially with Ezra's own foreboding words to Sabine. See it through. That'll be interesting. Sin City, keep it up. Come on. Oh, see. General Grievous could blaster bolts wasn't Force sensitive. You don't need to be Force sensitive to block like that. Yeah, that's a good point. You just gotta have a good reaction time. Going outside the galaxy, though, is the old Legends concept, as well as a canon concept. Pretty much the unknown regions, so that's why many people like it, I think. Yeah, that's fair. And, like, the Chiss, and, like, isn't, like, Zeb's people in, like, the unknown regions or something? One thing I do like about Ken, as opposed to every other master we've seen, is that he's readily admits he doesn't know it all. He's struggling and making things up as he goes. That's true. He has a very kind of down-to-earth journey as a Jedi. And obviously, he has an emotional attachment and relationship with Hera. while still kind of being a Jedi, exercising, being a Jedi, and doing all that. So yeah, see, there is good. He's a cool character. He's a cool character. Yeah, exactly. It's like the Force is in everything. Like Kenobi says in New Hope. Absolutely. I can't shoot the ship. It will hit the shipyard. Is that bad? Do I care? That sounds like something Chopper would say. So I'm going to say yes. I thought Chop said, oh yeah, you did. When he asked Hera if she moved his stuff, but I was a little sauced. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, I want to go back and like try and translate that. That'll be fun, actually. I want to try and translate it. Grievous could block them because he was basically a droid with all the arms, reflexes, and was trained by Dooku. Exactly. So it's like you could train that. Exactly. So can we discuss, what do we think the I think it's Eye of Sion is for? I think it's for, I assumed that, yeah, that big contraption was how they get to where Thrawn is. That's what I'm assuming, the Eye of Sion. That's like, it's either going to be like, it's almost, just from looking at it, it looks like it's a giant hyperspace like travel ring that like Jedi fighters use, but it looks like a giant one. So maybe that's used for like giant Star Destroyer like ships, like big cruisers that they lock into there, and it's like a giant hyper space ring for giant ships, and then that'll get them into the unknown regions or like this other galaxy or what they're saying. That's my understanding of what the Eye of Sion is for. Who's Sion? Do we know Sion? Do we know that name? It's interesting. Shin's costume is sick. Can't wait to see what cosplayers make. Yeah, I would love to see some cosplay Shins, actually. That'd be cool. Exactly. It's in everyone. He was, wasn't he? Like, he was the perfect, like, he looked the same, he acted the same. It was a perfect day. Hyperspace Gate. There you go. Yeah. That's a good question. Maybe Hera? There's no real need for her to die, though. Like, I don't know. It's a good question, Dave. I don't know. Okay, see, yeah. So I don't have a massive like Legends knowledge, especially KOTOR, if you know me. So is that from KOTOR? Darth Sion? Cool. I'll look him up after. Actually, write that down. Write that down on the computer. Darth Sion, eh? What does 9 hyperdrives get you? If so, not done before. Good point. Good question. Hear me out. I think the Eye of Sion is going to be like a giant Jedi starfighter ring. Yeah, see? Yeah. They're going to use it and put it around the Chimera to bring it back. Oh, imagine. Is that in the books? I'm not up to that part yet. Does it go somewhere? Might be a jump ring. Yeah, totally. We're all agreeing. Ooh, you think Ahsoka will die in this show? I don't know. Like, I feel like they want to do a season 2. I feel like they got to do a season 2. Is this about Sion? Oh, man. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. And on that thought, see, episode 3. What do we think we're going to get? Let me know right now. What do you think we're going to see in episode 3? I think my take of episode 3 is that it's going to be like catching up to the Eye of Sion. Like, obviously the end of the episode is Ahsoka and Sabine going there. I think it's going to be some classic thing of like they latch on to the thing before it goes into hyperspace. And so everyone, like Morgan, Baylan, all that. Oh, no, they're not on the ship yet. I don't know, but I think the next episode is gearing up for like going to where Thrawn and Ezra is. It'll just be more of a character dynamic, like conflict thing between Sabine and Ahsoka and Baylan and Shin. I think that. Yeah, almost like that. I could see that kind of happening. Hyperspace chase scene. Kind of. Absolutely. Season 3 is going to wrap up everything we've seen in trailers, minus Thrawn. Episode 3, right. Minus Thrawn, and have everyone beginning the journey to Peridia? Is that what it's called? How do you pronounce it? Yes, I think that's possible. I think, and then episode 4 or 5, we arrive where Thrawn is, and we find them, and then we go. Because I think once we find Thrawn and Ezra, there still has to be a bit of story. Like, I don't think that's going to be the end of the season. I don't think that's going to be the end of the season. So I think there's got to be a little bit of story and conflict once we find them. The other things, we're going to get a fight on the planet? Yeah, maybe. I think Morgan and gang head to the galaxy, others tagging. Who knows? I think so. Absolutely, I think so. Remember, it's supposed to be a 30-minute-ish ep. Yeah, a little bit shorter. So I definitely think it's kind of... Yeah, my bet's it's going to be this kind of chase scene. They're about to go, or they will be going, and it's like through hyperspace, and like stuff happens on the ship or something. Something like that. But I can't wait. Wow, almost dot on the hour mark. We will start to wrap up things here of this discussion. This has been incredibly enlightening. It's so exciting to think of what's going to happen. Where's the theme? Where is it? Let's get it cranking. I cannot wait for episode 3. We'll be having a little bit, like a smaller countdown show before the episode drops, and also doing another watch party for the episode. So make sure you are around for that. So that's next Tuesday for you guys. That's Wednesday for here in Australia. So we will be live then, enjoying episode 3 together. That was super fun. Number 1 in the chat, if you were here for the premiere countdown last week, my goodness, was that I was exhausted after that. Many hours streaming, but it was super fun. I'm so happy with this show. It is, again, if you've watched my review, I cannot praise the production quality enough. It is such a great looking show. It is so movie-like. It is so delicious looking. I love it. Final thoughts. I heard rumors that the next episode would take a turn, be about Sabine training with Ahsoka that leads back to a Clone Wars flashback. That'd be cool. I would like that. Not the wrap-up. I love that. There's 10 new folks in here. Oh, I love it. Oh, there's so many ones in the chat. I love it. I'm so glad so many people were at the premiere. Is she directing this one as well? Oh, I loved Steph Green as a director. She was such a good director. I love it. I love her so much. Oh, no, Indy Yoda. No. No, not the credits. Not the end. Oh, it's amazing. The premiere was awesome. It's just so good. I can't stop watching it. Again, this was my 4th time this morning watching it, and I'm still the only time I've watched a live action episode at least this many times in the first week. I think I've watched all the episodes. Like, I think a lot of the shows I've watched like at least 4 times over their period of being out. But the only other episode that I watched, like, I think I watched it like 6 times in the week, was the premiere of season 2 of The Mandalorian. Fun fact for you. What I don't even remember what it's called. But it's the one with the Tusken Raiders and Cobb Vanth, season 2 Mandalore. Oh, I watched that so many times. I thought that was like the greatest thing. I don't rate that enough. I don't talk about that enough. I think that's one of the best episodes of anything. I love it so much. It's so good. Welcome new members. Oh my god. I never see it pop up, but thank you so much for your generosity. Coming in hot. Love it so much. The Marshal, that's what it's called. The Marshal. The only ones I ever watched multiple times in a single week was a Boba Fett episode for The Mandalorian season 2 and finale with Luke. Yeah, and actually the Luke one's a classic. But I watched that like maybe 2-3 times. Right, lore gets me. The Mandalorian season 2 premiere is one of the best episodes of the show, in my opinion. Absolutely. Oh, slipping in there. I love it. Joining the race squad. What a good day. What a good day to be alive. I love it. Well, thank you so much for hanging out, everyone. Thank you for all the generous donos, and welcome to the Race Squad. 15 new members. My good God. My good God, man. But thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Can't wait for next week. It's just takes too long to get into next week. But I cannot wait for episode 3 and to debrief it with you all. Have a great rest of your weekend, evening, day, morning. It's morning for me. And I'll see you next time. Make sure you always choose the right side. Yeah, again, this happens so frequently. People tune in at the end. No. Sag coming in. Oh my God. Wait, do I start the show again? Why is everyone coming in at the end? Do I need to like personally ring you all up and be like, hey, I'm about to go live. Make sure you're here. Yeah, would you like a personal phone call? I'll have like it's like a reverse hotline, and I'll be like, you just add your number, and I'll just personally ring everyone up. Oh, so sad. Oh, Saji for coming in. Oh, love you, buddy. Saji with a $5 dues. My bad. No, my bad. I didn't personally ring you up. Oh, I love it. Thank you for the big soupy, Sag. Rawr!